Hey everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I am coming at you all with a new Ultra League Premier line. So the line I've been using this season is Shadow Machamp with Snorlax and Lapras in the back. The main focus is really saving your shields for Shadow Machamp and using the bulk of Snorlax and Lapras to tank a lot of that damage that Machamp doesn't want to handle. I've had some people ask me if you can run Shadow Lapras or Shadow Snorlax in place of the normal ones, and that definitely is possible. The only reason why I'm running normal variants is because I don't have Shadow variants of either of the other two. But I don't recommend running both Shadow Lapras and Shadow Snorlax. You definitely want to maintain some of the bulk you have. I definitely recommend running Shadow Machamp over regular Machamp just because Shadow Machamp just hits so much harder. So getting into the battles right here, let's start off with some tough matchups. So Gallade, very tough, very strong against this entire lineup, to be honest, because it threatens everything in this line, especially Machamp. What I found is that most people that run Gallade as a lead will tend to be pretty weak to Machamp in the back. And the good news about Snorlax as a safe swap is that you can pretty much force shields on most things. And so I pretty much default to Snorlax as safe swap in almost every scenario. So there's something to note. If I defaulted to Lapras safe swap there, the opponent would have farmed a bunch of energy off of me. So as predicted, they have a Snorlax in the back on top of Empoleon, so both very weak to Machamp. This for me, unfortunately, is actually a very bad situation because I lost lead and I don't have switch advantage throughout any of these matchups. So this is definitely going to be a tough one. What I'm doing right here though is constantly skull bashing, ensuring that I could just build up a lot of defense on my Lapras. And then as you can see right there, I decided to just swap finally, and then I go for the Rock Slide. Rock Slide and Cross Chop are both resisted by Gallade, but Rock Slide hits a lot harder. Even though there's not stab there, it's something to think about. So able to still win that out by just kind of muscling through a resistant matchup right there. Alright, Gengar lead, also very tough. Gengar is okay against Lapras. It definitely loses Snorlax. But the thing is, Snorlax doesn't really have charge moves to really threaten it. So I like to safe swap Snorlax into it because if you have Snorlax match up with Gengar in the back when shields are all down, you can't really do much with shields down with Snorlax because the moves you're not really threatening it with charge moves. Whereas Gengar could still throw a Focus Blast or a Sludge Bomb at you to potentially flip the matchup with Snorlax. So my opponent, I guess they might have made a slight error here, as in they locked in their Gengar into my Lapras. But you're going to see in a second a little bit why they did this instead of just staying in with Blastoise. Obviously, if they stayed with Blastoise, I would be able to farm up a decent amount of energy. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, they must have another Machamp counter in the back, and not good, not good. So they do come in with a Skarmory. They come in with Blastoise, probably hoping to catch a move, but I just get some extra energy here. But here's the thing. Machamp is just deadly, especially Shadow Machamp. Again, throwing Rock Slide, even though it's not stab, is neutral, just like Cross Chop, and it just does more damage. And able to take out a Skarmory, which typically should be a losing matchup. So yeah, so despite a really bad lead with Gengar, you still have some play right there. Alright, so Toxicroak, very strong against the entire team. And so pretty much, I think I might have lagged there or something. Usually you should be able to get off another Body Slam. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Or I don't know, maybe I just missed a move or desynced or something. But either way, I counter down this Toxicroak. I probably should have thrown a Cross Chop because almost every Drifblim still shields here. But this is just kind of a bad situation for me, especially Shadow Snorlax, because it does do quite a bit of damage to Lapras. I'm just going to buff myself right here. They don't shield, that's fine. I believe I probably should have shielded that superpower if just to think about it now. But I wasn't sure if they're baiting or not. At this point, I'm pretty much one Shadow Ball away from getting taken out by this Drifblim. My opponent actually makes a really smart play here and doesn't shield. They know that they could survive the surfs, and I need to land a Cross Chop, or need to land a Rock Slide to take him out. Even if I could land a Cross Chop there, I still need to get the 2, and I wasn't able to get the 2. So really well played by my opponent right there. Despite a bad lead, just because you lose lead doesn't mean you can't win, and my opponent really made sure that they maintained their win conditions throughout. Alright, Abomasnow, Shadow Abomasnow. Very positive for this team. and I'm just going to let this charge move go through. It's going to be a Hydro Cannon. And unfortunately, we CMP, so I'm just going to let the charge moves go just so I get a little bit extra energy here. The good news here is that they have to throw an Energy Ball to take me out here. Weather Ball just does not do much at all. And again, Toxicroak, kind of a threat again, and Snorlax obviously isn't good against Toxicroak, but I'd rather save my Machamp for the Abomasnow down the road. So what I'm going to do here is just weaken down the Toxicroak as much as possible with Snorlax. I didn't expect to win that at all. And then now I'm going to farm up a bunch of energy and then throw potentially back-to-back cross chops if they shield. And they do shield. Unfortunately, it looks like we CMP on the second one. So we do CMP. I think I undercharged a little bit just to get some extra farm. But they do a great job of swapping right away so they don't get farmed down. But I still get the cross chop just in time and can finish off the Tangrowth. Tangrowth, not nearly as favorable as Abomasnow, but still pretty solid matchup for Machamp. You may have to shield, so what I like to do is drop a Rock Slide. Again, even though Cross Drop has Stab, Rock Slide is such a better move that it tends to do more damage and is more energy efficient. Not tends to, it does do more damage. Okay, so this is actually probably not the best play on me. Little known fact is that Typhlosion actually beats Lapras, especially with Incinerate now, and so that probably wasn't the best call, but at the end of the day, the Tangrowth's pretty much almost taken out, so I don't really need to worry about that, so I just gotta figure out what they have in the back. Ends up being Charizard. This is not great for me, but it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do as Snorlax, just tank the move, it's all good. The Charizard still needs to drop a Blast Burn to take out the Snorlax. Dragon Claw won't be enough. So I don't mind just taking the move there. I have a bunch of energy now because I farmed the Tangrowth. And then now I'm just going to constantly throw Body Slams. This is going to really weaken the Charizard over time. And I think they just concede right there because they realize they don't have enough energy to take out both the Snorlax and Machamp. Alright, Dragonite lead. Not great. With a Toxicroak, it's a counter swap, even worse, right? So again, you want to save your shields for Machamp, and if Machamp doesn't have much play, you want to just save both shields for Snorlax. You don't usually need to shield Snorlax at all. As you can see, this is what it's supposed to look like when they counter swap with Toxicroak. You should be able to land 2 Body Slams and force 1 shield. So I think that matchup with the Drifblim was a little bit scuffed because I wasn't able to land it. But that being said, now I have Rock Slide. Not really any need to bait right here because then they go down 2 shields. So I just dropped the Rock Slide right here, and then I think I let the they throw an Acid Spray actually, kind of interesting. I was going to let the move go regardless of what it was because I knew Lapras could tank it, and I want to save that shield for the Machamp if possible because I know that landing a Rock Slide on the Dragonite would seal the deal. They throw another Acid Spray. At this point, I just throw a Surf, and then I throw a Surf at the Dragonite right here. My defense is pretty weak, so I'm going to swap out and clear the debuff. And they throw a move right here, which is good because now I know they don't have enough energy to throw another one, and then just Ice Shard down Dragonite. So obviously Dragonite, not a favorable lead, but you still have quite a bit of play. That Rock Slide is no joke against Dragonite, so let's see if we're going to see in this match. Again, also a very bad Mon to run into and a counter swap, but Snorlax can force shields, so they come down a shield. Escavalier is a little bit tough because now they have a bunch of energy. I'm probably going to have to shield at least one of these drill runs. It might even be an aerial ace, but I'm just going to gamble right there and hope it's not. Ends up being a drill run. Again, here comes the second drill run. That's fine. I build up. I'm trying to build up energy. I don't want to stay in there too long because I don't have enough for Rock Slide yet, so I'm going to just insta swap to Lapras. Yeah, so this is bad. A Scav into a Snorlax, and then you got a Ampharos into a Lapras. Talk about getting countered throughout. So what's the play here? So ideally, I'm able to leave a little bit of farm for my Machamp right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I have enough to farm, but that's okay. I come with my Machamp. I still get to a Rock Slide before they get to a Dragon Claw, and let's see how much this does. Boom, 1 shot. So again, Shadow Machamp with Rock Slide is no joke, even against a Dragonite, which is not a great lead. Alright, here comes Charizard. Again, not a favorable lead, but something to always think in the back of your mind is that Rock Slide will one-shot the Snorlax, right? Or the Charizard. So I don't have to worry about charge moves here. Again, Snorlax could potentially get 4 shields or just flip this matchup. My opponent has to shield if they want to maintain switch advantage here. I'm just going to let all these moves go, charge up a bunch of energy against this Lapras. This is good, right? Because I'm going to have a Rock Slide ready. I do shield one Surf just so that it ends up being an Ice Beam. So actually was really good I shielded because that definitely would do more damage. And I throw the Rock Slide. Let's see if they shield or not. They do shield. Smart shield by them, but here comes my Lapras. And then here comes Napoleon. This is actually not a great matchup for Lapras, and so what I really had to be worried about is making sure they don't have energy banked. So my plan here is just to wear down the switch timer, swap into the Empoleon when it doesn't have energy. The issue is if it charges up to 2 Drill Pecks and it throws Drill Pecks when I come with Machamp, then I'm forced to shield right there, right? So it looks like my opponent is farming quite a bit of energy off of my Lapras. But I end up bringing my Machamp in, and unfortunately I only shield the Dragon Claw right there. But they don't get to the next move in time. So I think they were thinking the same thing. They were going to swap quickly, build some energy advantage. But unfortunately, I timed it well too on my end. All right. So Obstagoon lead, very great lead. Probably one of the best things to go into. Venusaur is actually kind of tough for this team. I don't think I have any footage of Venusaur leads, just because I probably deleted some of that footage earlier. But in those situations, you just stay in. This opponent actually doesn't shield the Rock Slide. I usually just go with Rock Slide and either grab a shield or do a bunch of damage. Venusaur, you kind of just have to tag team it. So my opponent is coming with Obstagoon. They throw a Nice Slash, which is great because was that undercharged? That looked like it did like no damage. Anyway, I could do a bunch of damage with Superpower and force a shield from them, which is really great. And then the good news with Machamp is unless they're running Gunk Shot, you don't have to worry about these charge moves. Cross Chop does an okay amount of damage. And then I actually swap in my Lapras here. Now, maybe this wasn't the best idea, but what I was thinking is if they have a Machamp counter in the back, which they usually do if they're running Obstagoon in the lead, another Machamp counter, so Venusaur and Gallade, I want a slight energy advantage. And so right here, the good news is it didn't really matter how much, if I took the Cross Chop or not, I probably still would have died to the Leaf Blade. But now, able to still take out the Gallade with the energy I banked on Machamp. Alright, Escavalier lead. Like all fighter leads, you want to stay in. Because both Snorlax and Lapras is weak to fighters, or pseudo fighters like Escav and Obstagoon, you definitely don't want them matched up. So what I'm going to do is just stay in here. I know I win this matchup. Honestly, against pretty much all fighters, Machamp wins except for Toxicroak. Toxicroak you just have to muscle through. I don't think I have any footage of that one, unfortunately, either. But yeah, so end up accidentally just throwing the Cross Chop, but this is actually really good because now this Surf actually one-shots the Charizard, so I don't even get hit by a charge move. And then my opponent is going to concede right there. So I assume they probably had another Flyer or something weak to Lapras in the back. Alright, so Machamp Mirror. This is kind of a tricky mirror because it really depends on if you sneak a counter through or not, and so there's a lot of issues that can go into that. And also CMP, right? And so it looks like I have CMP here, and so what my opponent is going to do is just throw their second Cross Chop. I'm going to let this go. I want to save the shield. I'm coming Snorlax just farm down with Licks. I'd rather leave with a shield advantage, and then throw a move right here, and then bring in my Lapras. And they have their Snorlax, so kind of a similar line composition, right? You have 2 Pokemon in the back that are weak to fighters. Muk is not nearly as weak, but it's still fairly weak. And then you have a Machamp in the front. So in that situation, I think having the extra shield comes in handy right here. And then I'm going to farm with a little bit extra energy and then throw the Surf, come in with my Snorlax. And then at this point, I'm just going to go straight Body Slam. No need to throw Superpower. They actually go Sludge Wave, which was probably a smart play by them because that's probably their only win conditions landing that. But yeah, now, unfortunately, this is not going to be enough to take me out, and I'm going to throw the Body Slam right after. Yeah, so Sludge Wave, as you can see, does quite a bit of damage, but just not enough to take out the bulk of Snorlax. And they concede right there. Shadow Lapras, also a great lead. And then they come in with Togekiss. Anytime you see them come in Togekiss, obviously Snorlax does okay against Togekiss, but you want Lapras because you can just do all that super effective Ice Shard damage. I do shield just to ensure I maintain switch advantage here. This is not too bad because I know the opposing Lapras has to throw a Skull Bash to take out my Lapras, which means I could definitely land a Skull Bash before they get to their own. That'll weaken it enough so that my own Machamp can gain a lot of energy without worrying too much about charge moves right away. And they come in with Dragonite. It's actually a pretty solid team comp because the Togekiss draws out the Lapras, and then now you have a Dragonite in the back. That doesn't have to worry about Lapras. However, I do shield there just in case it's like an Outrage or Hurricane or something. This is still not a great spot for my opponent to be in because they don't have switch advantage, and this is a kind of a neutral-ish matchup. They do go for Hurricane now though, so at this point I decided to just straight counter down, and then I charge the 2 cross chops and then throw both of them back to back. I know this Lapras is low on energy because it had to drop a Skull Bash on my own Lapras earlier, and then just count down the Dragonite in the back. All right, Shadow Snorlax, also a favorable lead. And then here comes Swampert. I'm going to throw a cross chop first. The main reason I do this is because now I can ensure I win switch. I don't really have to worry about the moves right here. It's going to be Earthquake and that's fine. I'm just going to farm and then throw a Surf right here. If they want to shield, then I know they're probably going to throw another Earthquake. But I want to time it so that I can put them in that situation. Alright, so I lose switch advantage, but this is not bad because I have my own Snorlax that still can do super effective damage against theirs. So I drop a superpower, and if they don't shield, that's a lot of damage, and I swap into my own Machamp. Alright, so this is not great. Gallade is definitely going to chunk its Shadow Gallade as well. I think this person's running triple shadows. Yeah, pretty interesting. They go straight close combat, but I'm going to lick down at this point, and then the opposing Snorlax is already weak. So even though I lost switch advantage by choice right there, I knew that I still had a lot of play because I knew my Snorlax has play against theirs, and you know, there's not too much I'm worried about in the back. I guess maybe, yeah, there's really not too much. So I knew even as a Gallade, I had some play with a shield advantage. All right, Magnezone. Not great, or not great for my opponent, great for me. They also safe swap their Dragonite, which counter swapping with Lapras is a great feeling. He's just Ice Shard straight down, and then now they come with Magnezone. And here's the thing, Magnezone can't really throw mirror shots at this range. They have to throw a Wild Charge to take out this Lapras, so they're going to have to debuff themselves. And landing these Surfs are doing a decent amount of damage too. So they probably go for Wild Charge right here. They go for mirror shot. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, maybe not the best play because they still can't take out my Lapras here. They're probably just going to farm down. And here comes a Gallade. Not too worried here, especially with shield advantage. This is probably going to be a Leaf Blade. But I do shield anyway, just to be safe. And then I have 2 Bisons charged up. I'm going to throw them back to back. I probably don't need to shield this next move by Gallade, just because I have my Machamp that I could pretty much counter down from here. So it's going to be close combat, that's fine. I have a shield advantage with my Machamp and with the cross chop ready, and that's GG's. Alright, Swampert lead. Not the best lead, but not a bad lead. So here's the thing, you get to the cross chop before they get to the Hydro Cannon, so I throw a cross chop first, insta swap the Snorlax. Most will shield, so now they're already down a shield. They come in with a counter, such as Escavalier. That's fine, because I can win switch if I land 2 superpowers. And so let's see if I get the tap or not. They get drill run off, that's fine. I either win switch or they go down 0 to 2 shields. So they don't want to go down 2 shields, so they end up losing switch advantage. This is fine. Now I have my Lapras against the Swampert. That's going to be pretty good. They actually go Hydro Cannon there too, probably anticipating the Machamp. Now they go Earthquake. Now I have a lot of play right here. Between Lapras and Machamp, they're pretty solid pairings. Alright, here comes Muck, and that's fine. I'm going to come in with my Machamp right here. And I believe I shield this, expecting Sludge Wave, so that's fine. Now I could charge up extra energy, and they're going to see the match right there. So, Ampharos, kind of another similar situation. You throw the cross shot first, and then swap straight to Snorlax. They actually do a simultaneous swap right here, but this works out perfectly because Kanto Muck is actually not bad against fighters because of the poison typing. You do resist the charge moves right there. But the thing with Kanto Muck is it doesn't really run any stab charge moves, so it's not going to hurt Snorlax too much. Snorlax is quite bulky here. And so I'm going to let this move go to, it's going to be another Dark Pulse, and I should get to this another Body Slam, so let's see if they decide to shield this or not, and they don't. So this is not the best spot, to be fair, because I still have a Lapras in the back, and Lapras is not going to enjoy this Ampharos, so I do tank 1 Thunder Punch, and then they come in with the Tangrowth right here. So I drop the Rock Slide again, it does more damage than Cross Chop, and then now I'm going to come in with my Lapras. So Ampharos' Thunder Punches luckily do not one-shot Lapras, so unless they have a Focus Blast charged up, maybe this one Zap Cannon? If it has Zap Cannon, yeah, then I'm dead. But most will probably run Thunder Punch with Focus Blast or Dragon Pulse or coverage. But as you can see, if they drop a Thunder Punch here, it's not enough to take me out. So I still end up finishing off the Ampharos. Alright, so let's go into some signature kind of 3-mon lines. So double Charmers, right? It's sometimes Empoleon on the front, sometimes Snorlax. Could be a bunch of things, but just 2 Charms in the back. Anytime you see someone safe swap a Clefable into your Machamp, you usually want to go Snorlax. Main reason why I say this is because Lapras has a much better matchup against Togekiss. And in almost every double Charm line I've seen, they're always running a Togekiss plus something else. Sometimes it's a Gramble, sometimes it's a Clefable, once in a while it's a Gardevoir, but they almost always have a Togekiss. Togekiss is really solid because it's flying typing, gives a better matchup against stuff like Venusaur, right? So the important thing is, anytime you see the ground or the non-flying fairy come in, you should bring in Snorlax, because as you can see right here, now I have a great matchup against my opponent, because the Ice Shard just chunks away at the Togekiss and able to get quite a bit of energy too, and just spam away with these Surfs. Even though I was down a shield, I'm able to kind of make that shield deficit back up again and take out the Togekiss and finish it off with Machamp. Alright, Triple Water. Another pretty popular line. You see a lot in Open Ultra League, but you do see a decent amount in Premier as well. So in this case, it's Gyarados lead with Empoleon and Swampert in the back. Gyarados is an okay matchup for Machamp, but you really want to just draw out something that's weaker to Machamp in the back, right? So in this case, Empoleon is here. So I come in with my Machamp. Obviously going to shield the, well, I assume they're going to throw a Drill Peck. I'm actually not sure why they threw Hydro Cannon, but that's fine. I go straight for the Rock Slide. This will one-shot the Gyarados, but they do smartly decide to shield. They're staying in here. Anytime a Gyarados stays in against Lapras, it probably means they're weak to Lapras in the back in some way or form. And as you can see, here comes the Swampert. At this point, I know I just need to protect this Lapras, and then I win. So I'm just going to... Oh, I thought I was going to shield that. Maybe I was counting the fast moves? I don't know. Oh, I guess at that point, it's not a big deal, because at this point, I could just counter down with Machamp and land 1 Rock Slide and end the game too. So I don't really need Lapras here at this point. With the shield advantage, I'll be fine. Alright, very last matchup. I'm going against one of my patrons, Megatsis. He's running a mirror line, and so my patrons have early access to my line, so they knew about this, and I figured I might eventually match one of them, and so let's see how to play this out. Alright, so I was kind of hoping just go 2 shields, but he actually brings in Snorlax right here. Very smart play by him. He probably knew I was running this line, and I had a good feeling he was running this line because we talked about it. That actually was a really smart play by him, because now he saved energy on his Snorlax, or on his Machamp, so that he could throw that cross chop later. And he knows that cross chop is going to be valuable against all 3 of my mons, right? Against my Machamp, against my Snorlax, against my Lapras. And so I, unfortunately, and he actually brings in Lapras here too, to tank the charge move, right? Really smart play by him, really heads up play. And then I unfortunately cannot get to Superpower in time. This is really bad, right? Because I have a Machamp that has very little health. And then I was hoping to catch a move right here. He doesn't fall for it. Now his Lapras has energy, his Machamp has energy, and I'm down a shield. Yeah, it's not a good time. You know, he doesn't need to shield this if he doesn't want to, because this is over, right? He's going to land a Skull Bash, and I just can't outpace his Snorlax to the next Skull Bash, plus he still has a shield. So, you know, I just make the lines. I'm not saying I'm the best at running them, but this is actually a great way to play the mirror if you end up running into it. And so thank you to Megatsis for running that into me. I hope you enjoyed that video, and hopefully you get to use this line as well. It's personally a lot of fun to play. A big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like early access to my lineups, to GBL and Sylph, feel free to sign up to the Metabreaker tier above in the link down below. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see y'all next time.